Celebrate your husband for me. He said, my wife, I'm not partnering with any abuse, but celebrate him because he's calling you to a higher ground. He's telling you to look into yourself. There is something there. There's nobody that was wired by God to become a burden to someone else. The worst.
A pastor wife is giving married women advice, telling them that you're not a burden to your husband. So, because she's a pastor's wife, people go to her for counseling. And a particular woman went to meet her and be like, you know what, my husband abused me because I took 2,000 naira from him. 2,000 naira is not up to $2. In case you're wondering, $1 is 1,400 as at today. So 2,000 naira is not even up to $2. So the wife took money to buy sanitary pad and the man abused her. She rushed to the pastor's wife to explain, and the woman is advising her. Let me show you all this video.
Thing I've heard in my life was a woman coming to me to tell me, Mom, my husband is threatening me that I should leave the house. If I don't leave the house before 5 o'clock, he will kick me out. What did you do? Said, because I asked him for money to buy sanitary towel and he told me not to come close to his face. So I went to his wallet and I took the money and he started screaming at me. I said, how much did you take, please? I was expecting to hear 50K, 100, 200. How much? True life story, 2,000 naira. And I said to her, oh my goodness, celebrate your husband for me. He said, my wife, I'm not partnering with any abuse, but celebrate him because he's calling you to a higher ground. He's telling you to look into yourself. There is something there. There's nobody that was wired by God to become a burden to someone else. See, marriage does not give it a sexually transmitted money. Money is not sexually transmitted. The Lord expects us to flourish financially.
All of a sudden, women are not supposed to be burdened to their husband, or wives are not supposed to be burdened to their husband. So your wife is asking you for 2,000 naira that you have to give her money to buy sanitary pad, and the next thing is you explaining to her that she should be working and all of that. Anyway, I want to know your thoughts about this video in the comment section where I show you all these reaction videos, and I'll see you at the end of the video.
Money is not.
There are several things I could say about that video. However, one thing I just want to talk about is the fact that most of these pastors and their wives, when they speak, it is very clear, it's evidently clear that they lack nuances. That woman clearly does not understand the life of an average woman. She does not get it. She does not understand. She cannot empathize. She cannot empathize with that woman that came to her. Hence, when that woman came to her with a very dire situation, all she could give her was bogus motivational words. These people lack nuances. They don't understand, hence they cannot empathize. Everything then again is all marks with the cloth of religion, right? Or we believe in God. They don't get it. Hence why when they say things like, your husband is about to bring out greatness in you, when this woman is a woman who's fully dependent on her husband. And they say things like, a woman should go out there and pursue things when the environment is not conducive for her to go out there and pursue things. Let's assume this woman goes out there and begins to pursue things. Okay, is there anyone who's going to take over taking care of the home and the children? Are there finances for that? Are there arrangements for that? No. People just say, every woman should be able to go out there and work hard, while at the same time taking care of the home and the children. Or that is the plight of a woman, a hard-working woman. You know what? I rest my case for today.
Wired by God to become a burden to someone else. See,
the privilege for this to be the worst thing you've ever heard in your life. If I was the hell master, let me say it like that, your hell master, because you're going to hell, forget heaven. If I was your hell master, this sermon will play on repeat for all of your eternity. Because let me tell you something about pick-me and male-centered women. They are eternally searching for ways to make the men the victim. You're not even asking yourself, how come this woman has to ask her husband for sanitary pad? For money for sanitary pad. You're not even asking that what is happening, where in the financial abuse is this coming from? Like, what is happening? And you still have the audacity to say, not that I'm supporting any abuse, but But what? But what? You cannot, like, with the same hand. With the same hand. Support abuse. What is your problem? Like, why? Why do you guys narrate stories and you just want to make men the victims all the fucking time? Like, sometimes I think men look at you guys and they're like, what the hell? How did this woman manage to make excuses for me? And you have a pulpit and you're talking to women. And the women there too are laughing and smiling. I swear, I'm not allowed to enter churches actually. I'm banned from entering churches. Let me just say it like that. Because the things I will do when I come into a church and there's a woman on the pulpit saying this rubbish, and then there are women smiling, laughing in the audience, I am not allowed in the church.
See, marriage does not give it a sexually transmitted money.
You guys see what I mean when I say it's not every pastor and pastor wife that's gifted enough to carry a microphone and start preaching to a group of people, to preach to a crowd. Because for you as a woman to say you don't partner with abuse, but you use that as a scenario to pass a message, it's just dumb. It is freaking dumb, because I don't understand how, as a man, you cannot give your wife 2,000 naira. You know she doesn't work. You know she's staying at home to take care of the kids. Now, as ladies in 2025, I don't know why we're still doing that BS, why we're still being stay-at-home mothers when we have the abilities and the capabilities to make our own money. But don't get me wrong, your man should always provide for you. A husband should always provide. I don't see why you go and carry your useless hands to start beating your wife because she collected 2,000 naira from you. What is 2,000 naira? It's 2,000 naira. She took it from your wallet because you told her to get out of your face. What did you want her to do? To bleed on the floors? But anyways, I'm getting off track here. Back to this wife or this minister, whoever she is. That was the worst scenario to use. You are trying to preach financial independence, which is, yes, a lot of our ladies need to hear that. They need to understand that as a woman, you should always have your own. But even if as a woman, you should always have your own, if you are married to a man, he should be responsible for you, even though you have your own. What is the essence of having a husband? What is the essence of having a husband if the woman is only going to be responsible for herself and the man is only going to be responsible for himself? That man holds no value. He just holds no value. But anyways, please, it's not every pastor wife that is gifted enough to send messages, because you're sending the wrong message. Like, even the men, this is the first time that I saw men in the comments saying, as a man, you cannot give your wife 2,000 naira for a pack, because it's just madness. This lady literally said that, oh, yes, he wanted you to see that you are supposed to be financially independent. So he wanted you to see the gift that you have by a beating. Yeah, some of y'all, it looks like some of y'all be smoking that shit.
Said, my wife, I'm not partnering with any abuse, but celebrate him because he's calling you to a higher ground. He's telling you to look into yourself. There is something there. There's nobody that was wired by God to become a burden to someone else.
I'm going to start calling Christian altars the altars of confusion. Yeah. The altars of confusion and abuse. Yeah. I would also add the altars of evil. Evil, lack of empathy. That is what I will add. First, did you notice that as soon as she stated that the woman came to her and told her what the husband did, she went straight to ask, what did you do? Right? Now, this lady said nobody was designed by God to be a burden to somebody. But the Bible clearly said that a woman was created as a helper to a man, which means a man was to be a burden to that woman. If I am helping you, you're a burden to me. If you cannot function without me, you're a burden, okay? I don't know if you guys realize, but children are a burden to their parents. Whether you choose to call it responsibility or burden, it is still the same thing, okay? Burden simply means you are responsible for carrying that thing through. So children are a burden, and so are men in the lives of women. So I don't understand how you're preaching to women, and because a woman cannot buy sanitary pad and she asks her husband, it's not a message for you to shame her about how you think she's being horrible and she's a burden to her husband. Mind you, this same man cannot fix himself a plate of food, okay? It is men who, whenever a woman leaves them, they can't even function. Like, they have to be, even if their wife dies, they have to be in search of another woman to take over what the woman was doing in their lives. Women lose their husbands, they become widows, and they take on financial responsibility of the family ASAP. Okay? They are fine. They are not hunting for another man to marry them so they can survive. Men are the ones who, when their wives die, they are in a chronic hunt for somebody to replace her. I saw a video of a lady who was filming her brother who had 5 kids and abused his wife, and his wife ran away and left the 5 children for him. The children never went to school. As that woman left, those children did not go to school because he couldn't even prep those children for school for one day. One day he couldn't do it. He was forced to go and beg the woman, not because he's sorry for what he did to her or because he wants to apologize. It's because his mother refused to take those children in and his sister refused to also come and help. That's the only reason he went back to beg that woman. So when these stupid people come to preach to you people how much collecting 2,000 naira from a man has not made you a burden on him, meanwhile you cook for him, you clean for him, you clean after him, you do all of these things, this is such a shame. Shame on this woman and whoever she is. Shame on her, really. You people see how they minimize the work you do in the lives of men, and for every single thing a man does, they glorify him for it, and the church promotes this kind of fuckery. Because this same woman, next one, they will preach to you about how you should submit and honor the man. If the man says this thing, you obey before you complain, right? If this woman had come to this man, if the woman who they are talking to in this sermon had come to this lady and told her that my husband said I should quit work and take care of the house, they would advise that woman to quit work. But now that she's being financially abused and most likely physically abused, right? They are shaming her for being worthless. If it is 2,000 naira for sanitary pad that is her problem, then she's worthless. That is what they are doing to that woman here. And don't come to me to say she never said she's worthless. That is exactly what she's implying. That is what she's implying. Like, I'm angry. If you come to my comment section with that bull crap, I will insult you. That is what she's implying. That your husband, and look at how there was no mirror placed on the man's behavior. No mirror. Do you think there is a woman somewhere who got married and she just wants to sit down, right? Except for these women who be like, oh, I want to be a stay-at-home mom, which is not this kind of women. Women who say that are not the kind of women who would say, oh, I needed 2,000 and I want to ask my husband. No, there are women who ask men for serious money. It's not 2,000 naira for pad. This lady, even though I don't know the lady, I've not heard her story, but I know that at some point she desired to work. It is that marriage that stunted her ability to work. It is. Let me tell you guys something. Marriage doesn't only take away your ability to earn money by a man only saying, don't work. That's not the only way. The moment you have a child, even the job, as long as it is not a government job you have, and you have a private job in Nigeria, no private employer wants to give you maternal leave. And even if they do, it is never enough time for you to actually take care of your child till, like, you know, maternal leave, most people take it from like 8 months pregnant till maybe the baby is like 3 months. So they're expecting you to take like 4 months maternal leave. Most private organizations don't give that. And even if they do, you will find out that it is difficult juggling your work and your child and your home. It is usually very, very, in fact, it poses as impossible most of the time. A lot of people who do it with help. Okay? Now, I don't know their situation, so let me not even go into that. Notice how she knows that that thing is abuse, but because the church has a culture of never calling out an abuser, they found a way to make the man a victim there. By saying, I'm not trying to stamp any form of abuse. So you know it is a form of abuse, but no, let's leave the abuser and talk and shame the abused. Let's leave the abuser and shame. See, Christian women, you listen, especially you're in your 20s, eh? You listen, there's going to be the voices who are speaking up for women who are being abused. There's like a huge, huge pandemic of people trying to shut those voices, right? You keep listening to these people. In the nearest future, you may not even have people who want to speak up for you, and you will find yourself in this situation. There are women who, in their 20s, they held on to these ideas that you are. Today, they are no longer there. A lot of these women you see who tell you they used to be religious, they are no longer religious. Don't think as if a devil appeared to them and tell them, I'm here to drag you, I'm here to drag you. Contrary to what they tell you. No, it's not. It is the lack of grace, lack of love, lack of empathy, right? And then that they found in religion and in their experiences and how religion handled or the church handled their experiences. But most of them, it was from one thing, then they deduct to another until they found out that the problem is actually the religion itself, not necessarily just the church they attended, religion itself. But that is, by the way, this is horrible. This is horrible. And a lot of you pastors are classist. Preachers are the most classist people I've ever seen. They worship rich people and they look down at poor people. They people who don't have money, is like there is nothing that cannot come out of your mouth to tell them. Like you tell them the absolute worst. The relationship of pastors and their members is like Burna Boy and his fans. That is how their relationship. Never did she imply that this lady should leave this man in this message. Never.
When it comes to marriage and when it comes to religion, they usually preach submission for women only. Submit to your husband because your husband is your head, is the one that makes the rules, is the one that whatever he tells you to do, you do it, you do whatever pleases him. Even if when he's doing something that is not right, just follow through because he is the husband, right? He knows the right thing, he is the leader. All right. So because of that, these men already have this, I am the head. I will tell you whatever you want to do. Most marriages, most of them that are very religious, they tell their woman, don't work. Stay at home and take care of the children. Stay at home. I want you to stay at home because I don't want you to go outside to work. Stay out. And because the wife is very submissive, she's very religious, she believes in God, and whatever the pastors are preaching, she stays at home and obey her husband. Take care of the children. How do you expect her to have money? How do you expect her to have money? Mind you, this particular woman might even be working before she got married. She might even have her own money. She must have finished her money at a point, or the man must have collected the money. Now, she doesn't have any money because she's staying at home to take care of the children, or the man is not even giving her money. Even when he has the money, he doesn't give her, or he only gives her pick on things and just like, you know what, these are the things I'm going to do. He doesn't give her things for her personal self. He will say, okay, I'm feeding the house, but he doesn't give her things for her personal, because buying a sanitary pad, it is only the woman that benefits from it, right? He doesn't want to give her. So she taking money for sanitary pad is not a problem, because this woman does not have, clearly she does not have, and that does not mean that because she took that money from her husband, he has to abuse her because of 2,000 naira. And now this pastor's wife is not seeing the abuse. What she has to pick in the whole thing is, you as a woman, you don't have to expect that once you marry, a man is going to take care of all your problems. Then why are we married? Why is a woman taking care of all the man's problem when the man cannot take care of his woman's problem? Because most men don't even know how to do anything in the house. If the wife is not around, they cannot even take care of the children. They cannot cook. They cannot do nothing. They cannot clean the house. They don't even know how to do anything. The wives are the one doing everything. She's taking care of him. So when it has to be the woman's turn now, don't be a burden to your husband. And why are you advising women to get married if the man is not going to care for the wife? If he's not going to care for you, why are you advising women to marry? Why are you telling them to marry? Because I want to know the essence of marriage. If your man cannot give you money for sanitary pad and he has the money, and once you collect the money now, he beats you because you took money from him. The fact that she even asked her, what did you do to make him abuse you? And then shame her for what she did is annoying. And this is why most men are still backward. Most men don't even know what to do, because if they think about what their man is doing, their husband is doing for them, they just be like, you know what, let me just keep it to myself, because if I go and meet the pastor's wife or the pastor, they will tell me that it's my fault, because every time it's always the woman's fault. Every time. If a marriage is not going well, it is always the woman's fault. They always ask the woman, what you do? They can clearly see that it's the man that is the evil person. But the man is always, overlooked. They always look at you as a woman. You are the problem. You are the one that is supposed to fix this. You are not supposed to do this. Even if you didn't do anything. To tell you didn't do it because you did not do anything. That is why it is like they will always blame you as a woman. Especially when it comes to religious standard, they always want to blame you as a woman. They always want to see what you did wrong that make that man to do that to you. Some people are saying, oh, she's a pastor's wife, or probably she's not qualified to give advice and all of that. Even the pastors themselves, they will even do worse. The pastors themselves will do worse. And for them to do this preaching on their, and post it online on their website, is it means that the preaching was bomb. Like, it makes sense, right? You guys, what is your take on this video? Let me know your thoughts about this video down in the comment section. Respectfully, as always, Sugar Mara David, and thank you so much for tuning in today's video. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please like and share and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one, guys.